So if you're a beginner in the SMMA space and you're looking for a niche that will allow you to easily scale to 10K a month, a niche that's not saturated, and a niche that will be able to make you a millionaire, then this video is for you. I strongly believe one of the key factors as to why I was able to build an SMMA to 7 figures was because we chose the right niche. My SMMA made over $1 million in revenue, and we did it with really good margins, 60 to 80% on average. And over the course of 3 years, I've worked with 355 different businesses, 90% of them being in the same niche. For the other 10%, they were referrals and a bit more random. But look, for you right now, it probably feels so overwhelming. So many niches to choose from. So many niches just seem saturated, and it's just really hard to know which one is for you. But this is important. Choosing the right niche or choosing the wrong niche will make all the difference. So later on in this video, I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to give you a list of over 100 niches that you can choose from. And even better, I'm going to give you a checklist that you can follow to figure out which niche is going to work best for you. And that is the exact checklist I give to my private one-to-one mentorship students that, of course, pay for it. But trust me, this checklist will make this whole process 10 times easier. So before I give you that list of niches that I personally like, that I worked with, and the niches that my private one-to-one students are working with that are getting the best results, let's first look at some of the most popular niches and whether or not they're good or they're bad. So a niche is defined as an industry or a type of business or a business model. For example, a niche could be real estate. That's an industry. A niche could also be online coaches or e-commerce businesses. That's a type of business, a business model. Or it can be both. It could be a business model in an industry. For example, you could work with online fitness coaches, online mindset coaches, online business coaches, pairing the industry and the type of business. The first niche I would avoid is e-commerce. Look, e-commerce was an amazing niche years ago, and you're going to see lots of guys still preaching it here on YouTube. So why do I say that it's not really good? Number one is that e-commerce brand owners are typically very tech savvy, and they most likely know a lot about marketing. You see, in my business, to work with 355 businesses, I can tell you this. Most of them paid us because we knew more than them. We weren't experts when we started, but we knew more than them, so they paid us. You see, most of these e-commerce guys are smart. They know this marketing stuff. They might not want to do it themselves, but they know a lot about it. So if you're trying to sell them, you need to know more than them. And they know a lot. Point number two, and I thought this for the longest time, I thought that e-commerce had unlimited scalability, meaning that if I work with a business that's making $5,000 a month, I could scale them up theoretically to $50,000, $100,000 per month. That is just not the case. Even if I can do that through paid advertising, email marketing, organic social media, they probably won't be able to scale that fast because they're selling products. So they need to make sure that they have the products to sell. That may involve getting a whole new warehouse. It's not an easy process. You can't do that in 1 month. That will take months. So often we have this problem where people work with an e-commerce business, they get them good results, but they get them too good results, where the brand just can't keep up, they can't scale. The reason this is such a big problem is because of the profit margins of an e-commerce business. The average margin is about 15 to 20%. So for every $1,000 you make them, they only keep $150 or $200. So let's just say they pay you $1,000 per month, and you make them an extra $4,000 in sales. That sounds good, right? 1,000 in, 4,000 back. Well, let's say you're offering Facebook ads. So they spent $1,000 on you, then they spent $1,000 on the actual ads. They were already up to $2,000 in expenses. And then because their profit margin is only 20%, out of the $4,000 they sold, they actually only made $600. So they spent $2,000 and they made $600. It's a loss of $1,400. So unless they have a really good back end, for example, they sell a subscription product. So even though they lost money in the first month, they know they'll make more money as the months go on and the customers pay more money. But if they're just selling a standalone product, this is probably not going to work. Now here's the thing, out of the 355 clients I worked with, a lot of them were actually e-commerce businesses in a specific industry, which was my niche, which we'll touch on later, and we got them good results, but they didn't pay us for results. You see, most of them paid us for convenience. They weren't paying us $1,000 a month thinking that we were going to make them back 10K. They wanted us to manage their social media, to create content, to do it because we were good at it and they liked our content and they thought it looked well for their brand, which in my opinion is a much better selling point. Because if they're 6 months into a contract with us and they've paid us a couple thousand and they're looking at the numbers and they're like, ooh, we haven't made that much money back. Well, that wasn't the only intention. They paid us for the time we saved, the convenience, because we create beautiful stuff. Niche number two I would most likely avoid is info products. These are course sellers, business coaches, online marketers, people that sell events. And I'm not saying to avoid this completely. In fact, this can be a massive opportunity. But you see, most of these guys and girls are really tech savvy and very marketing savvy. Think of it, how do most people sell their online courses, their coaching? Through their marketing. Most of them already know that stuff. So if you're going to work with this type of industry, you want to make sure that you're offering a convenient service. Of course, you can offer a service such as ads, PPC, that's a conversion driven offer. But from my experience, I've worked with a lot of coaches, over 100, a convenience offer will make you much more money. So you can probably gather one thing already. The niches that we tend to avoid are the niches that have a high degree of sophistication. The business owners understand marketing, they understand social media, they understand what we do too good. So you can still work with those types of businesses, but it's typically only going to work if you offer a convenient service. AKA, they want a thing, you do the thing, and they don't want to do the thing themselves. Now, on the other hand, the niches we tend to love, especially for beginners, are niches where there's not a high level of sophistication, where they don't really know too much about marketing, about sales, about social media, about algorithms, about creating good viral content. They don't know much of that stuff. So they're still typically going to pay you for the convenient service, but now they also understand that your convenient service might actually massively impact their business. You creating content which will potentially go viral and get them tons of leads. You see, there are some businesses where this is absolutely overwhelmingly true. If we look at gyms, if we look at restaurants, if we look at beauty salons, you know, a lot of these are business types and industries where people would say they're saturated. They don't work. Yet when I look at my students right now, we've over 103 students making between 5 to 30K per month. A very, very high number of them work with these types of businesses for two reasons. Convenience, but also, as we just mentioned, they're paying you because they don't know how to do it themselves. From my experience, the best clients you're going to work with are the clients that don't know everything you do. They don't know how to do it themselves. They're paying you for that, but then they're also paying you because of the time you save. Think of it. If they don't know how to do something, and then they don't have the time to do it, as long as you can clearly show them how it will actually help their business, free up their time so that they can focus more on revenue generating activities, you'll be able to sell it. Like all these people that are telling you that content creation, social media management agencies don't work, that they're saturated, they're literally straight up lying to you. If you've seen any videos from anybody saying that SMMA as a whole, as a business model doesn't work, again, they're lying. Might not work for them, but it works. Now, more importantly, instead of just picking a niche where they don't know much about marketing and then they don't want to do it, right? You got those two amazing benefits. You need to understand this term. We coined this inside of my mentorship program about 2 years ago. It's called service niche synergy. You see, you can't just look at a niche and say that's a good niche, right? E-commerce, to one person, is a good niche. To another person, it's a bad niche. Online coaches is a good niche. To another person, they're going to say it's a bad niche. You can only truly say if a niche is good or bad if you understand the service you're offering to the niche. You see, you need service niche synergy. You need the two things to work holistically together. If I'm looking at online fitness coaches as my niche, I need to understand first and foremost, what is my service and what will that do for them? Because if I'm offering Facebook ads, that might bring them more leads, but it can't guarantee it'll bring them more clients. Why? Because their business model is a lead books a call and then somebody on a call sells the program. So it's very hard for me to claim that my Facebook ads will get them clients, because I know even if I get them 100 amazing leads, they have to close the deal. However, with an e-commerce business, because they don't have a salesperson involved and they sell their products directly on a website, it's much easier for me to explain how I can drive traffic to their website and get them sales. So if I'm going to work with a fitness coach and I'm saying, hey, look, I'm going to bring you an X new customers through these Facebook ads, fundamentally they're going to understand that you can't. You can bring them potential revenue, but they know they've got to actually do the work to close a deal. So instead, what I'd focus on is figuring out how I can bring them awareness, how I can bring them new leads, and offering that, because that's what they know they need. And then I got to look at the service. Okay, what's the best way to do that? Yes, I could do it through Facebook ads, but if they're a fitness coach with 2,000 followers on Instagram, I know that they have not tapped that out. So before we go looking at running these ads where it's way more expensive, why aren't we posting 1 to 3 videos a day on Instagram Reels? So that's an example of service niche synergy, where even though multiple services could work for fitness coaches, there's always going to be a service that works the best. So when you're looking at all these niches, I want you to do that. I want you to run through all the different services and break it down. Which one is actually going to get the best result? Which one is going to be the easiest to sell? Which one is going to be the most cost efficient for the client? So I promised you at the start of the video I was going to give you a checklist. I was going to give you 100 plus niches and reveal to you the exact niche I worked with. Well, drum roll please. My niche is health and fitness. We worked with e-commerce brands and fitness coaches in that world, health and fitness. It's what we did, it's what we specialized in. We could very, very clearly communicate that expertise to our clients. I don't think you should work with fitness coaches and e-commerce brands. Why? for everything we've looked at in this video. I want you to take a look at the 100+ niches I've linked below. I want you to also look at the checklist. When you find a niche on that list that you like the sound of, you're going to run it through the checklist. Answer the questions honestly, and when you figure out your niche, let me know. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. You can take the checklist and just promise me you'll use it.